Hi everyone, MR Assassin here, and welcome back to Brain Booster, the show where we discuss the latest news on science, technology, gaming, and other brain-boosting topics. So let's begin. For reference, this is the first week of July 2019, so happy Canada Day to Canadians, and happy 4th of July to the Americans coming up. For my first topic, there's going to be a little bit of a format change to the show Brain Booster. That's me! Since I don't get very many views or comments on my show just yet, I decided to criticize myself and said, I can probably pick up the pace of this show a little bit. So moving forward, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pre-read the articles and then create some summary notes and then just give you guys the good juicy bits of information instead of reading and recording at the same time. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoy the new format of this show. So first actual topic, NASA has been hacked. Specifically, it was their Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And it was targeted by hackers with a unauthorized Raspberry Pi computer. Once they got into that Jet Propulsion Laboratory known as the JPL, they moved laterally further into the NASA network. They apparently got as far as the Deep Space Network array of radio telescopes and numerous other JPL systems. This happened back in April 2018, so last year. I'm not sure if that's a typo in the article. It says it happened in April 2018 and we're just hearing about it now. The Johnson Space Center is responsible for programs including the International Space Station. Decided to disconnect from the gateway altogether. They restored some systems back in March, but not all communications are restored due to concerns. So critical vulnerabilities remain that place the JPL at risk of cyber intrusions resulting in the theft of critical information. This is pretty surprising because NASA is like a really high profile target, and you would think that they would have a little bit better IT security in place. But it sounds like from the audit report that they ignored like the most basic of security. They don't even have like a defect ticketing system in place for the place that got hacked. Hopefully they get their shit together. So there's a new vehicle called the Lightyear 1 that has been debuted recently and is the first long-range solar-powered electric car. So it's a company called Lightyear and it's a startup from the Netherlands, and they're boasting a range of 450 miles on a single charge. For us Canadians, that is 724 kilometers per charge. I shouldn't say Canadians, that's like everyone except America. So it is just a prototype for now, but they are aiming to begin production in 2021. There's reservations available for 500 additional units for the initial release. And this type of technology is still very expensive, so you'd have to pay 119,000 euros upfront, which is around 136,000 US dollars. It is a smaller than typical battery that can directly grab sun from the roof and hood, covered with 16 square feet of solar cells. It can also charge up with regular outlets and existing charging stations for a quick top-up. It is optimized to be lightweight and power efficient, which means that you can get 250 miles in just one night of charging from a standard European 230 volt outlet. I like the idea of electric vehicles, but they are extremely expensive still for the average consumer. Like, it's definitely way out of my price range. I hope companies continue to research this type of technology and hopefully bring down the price so that the average person can buy an electric vehicle. For our next topic, scientists have been inspired by oyster shells to create glass that's much harder to shatter. So that smooth, shiny material that's on the inside is known as mother of pearl, and it's extremely resilient. So resilient that it has inspired the creation of virtually shatterproof glass. So glass is, of course, weak to sharp impacts, and we've tried to make it better using like tempered glass. So the problem with tempered glass is that when it does crack, it completely fails and it explodes. And then laminated glass has a softer material that is sandwiched between layers of glass. It does a better job of holding together than tempered glass, but its impact resistance isn't much better. Now, mother of pearl, at the microscopic level, it looks like it's made of tiny building blocks. Under force, those mineral blocks slide apart from each other. That sliding allows the material to take on substantial blows without breaking. The researchers used a laser to cut bricks out of borosilicate glass sheets, which are then laminated, and the team aligned and arranged the sheets so that the final product mimicked the three-dimensional structure of mother of pearl with a type of plastic called ethylene vinyl acetate, acting as the mortar. Instead of breaking under high stress, it bends. It also outperforms plexiglass, two types of tempered glass, and laminated glass in its impact resistance. And when it does break, it does so gracefully by denting and deforming instead of shattering. The researchers say that one could make industrial volumes of this material very easily and at a reasonable cost. Having glass that's more durable can come in handy in so many ways. Like, it could be used for normal windows, it could be used for smartphone screens, it could be used for windshields. I really hope that these researchers bring this to the public real quick. So there's been a bit of a trade war between the US and China recently, and one of the targets was Huawei. However, Trump has lifted the ban. The world leaders are currently gathered for the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, and he is talking about easing the rules of this ban. They would not be lifting existing tariffs or adding any new ones for the time being, but interestingly, he added that American companies would once again be able to do business with embattled tech giant Huawei, effectively overturning a ban put in place last month by the Department of Commerce. So Trump said, US companies can sell their equipment to Huawei. I'm talking about equipment where there's no great national emergency problem with it. We have a lot of great companies in Silicon Valley, and based in different parts of the country that makes extremely complex equipment. We're letting them sell to Huawei. It's worth noting that in his little quote that it sounds like the trading is only happening in one direction, of where equipment is selling to Huawei, but not the other way around. I personally thought that the whole national emergency was a bit of an overstatement. I don't think there's a great threat from Huawei itself, so if there's any benefit to the company here, I think that's good. What are your thoughts? Do you think Huawei is dangerous to the US? Do you think they should continue banning them from business? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, one more story. There's some news from Harvard, the micro-robotics lab. They created a RoboBee that made its first solo flight. This RoboBee became the lightest vehicle ever to achieve sustained untethered flight. Apparently this happened back in August 2018, but we're only hearing about it now. Achieving flight is surprisingly difficult at the small scale, so this is actually a very impressive feat that they achieved. To achieve untethered flight, they would require the power of 3 suns, so it's not possible in the outdoors yet, but they were able to get that type of power and light from halogen bulbs in a lab. So the final vehicle, with the solar cells and electronics, weighs 259 milligrams. For reference, that's about a quarter of a paperclip. Pretty light. It uses 120 milliwatts of power, and that is less than a single bulb on a string of LED Christmas lights. I'm not really sure what a teeny tiny flying robot would be useful for the average person, but micro-robotics in general can be useful. For example, for possible surgeries or very smart sensors. But yes, congratulations to the students at Harvard. That is it for this episode. Thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with the latest tech news. Your brain has now been boosted. Moi moi.